Good afternoon, everyone. We are continuing the episode 10, the BERDE Day for Building Green 2022, the digital conference. Building Green is the flagship campaign of the PHILGBC events and consists of the year-round activities that encourage participation in green building advocacy. I am Rowena Elida from the PHILGBC National Secretariat, and I will be today's facilitator. Thank you to the PhilGBC Board of Trustees for initiating this event. BOT Chair, Mr. Edgar Sabidong, Vice President and Chief Sustainability Officer, Arthalan Corporation. Vice Chair, Ms. Rowena Ramos, Principal, Ecotectonica Incorporated. Secretary, Ms. Elizabeth Mendoza, Managing Director, Monocrete Construction Philippines. Treasurer, Mr. Raymond Rufino, CEO, Neo Property Management Inc. To the members of the board, Ms. Catherine Ilagan, President and COO, Philinvest Alabang Inc. Mr. Felino Palafox Jr., Principal, Palafox Associates. Mr. Hernero Liwanag, Junior Partner, GFN Partners Architects. Mr. Luis Chamon, Country Manager, Sangoban, Philippines. Ms. Audrey Bell Poe, Managing Director, World Home Depot Corporation. Mr. Francisco Arellano, Consultant of Maynilad Water Services, Inc., and Mr. Gabriel Maria Angelo Cascante. I would also like to acknowledge the CEO of the PhilGBC, Mr. Christopher De La Cruz, the Executive Director, Mr. Maria Ana Tongol, and the PhilGBC National Secretariat for organizing this conference. We would like to thank our members and sustaining corporate sponsors that support the program of the PhilGBC and for making our activities possible. Our Diamond Sustaining Sponsor, Neo Property Management. Our Gold Sustaining Sponsor, Wall Vision Corporation. Our Silver Sustaining Sponsors, Arthalan Corporation, Daikin Air Conditioning Philippines, Ecotectonica, Firefly Electric and Lighting Corporation, GFN Partners Architects, Gigatech Inc., KPI Elevators Inc., Monocrete Construction Philippines Inc., Sangoban Philippines, SMCC Philippines, Surface Repair Solutions, and World Home Depot Corporation. We would like to thank the following sponsors and strategic partners for their support in making this Building Green Conference 2022 possible. Our Diamond Sustaining Sponsor and National Secretariat Sponsor, Neo Property Management, Inc. Our Gold Sustaining Sponsor, Wall Vision Corporation. Our BG 2022 Gold Strategic Partners, Aboitiz Infracapital Economic Estates, and City Homes Builder and Development, Inc. Our BG 2022 Silver Strategic Partners, First Balfour, Daikin Air Conditioning Philippines, Wall Vision Corporation. Our BG 2022 Bronze Strategic Partners, AGC Asia Pacific, Botanica Nature Residences, Philinvest City, Datem Incorporated, FPD Asia Property Services Inc., and Monocrete Construction Philippines. Before we continue, please be reminded of the following event guidelines. This webinar will be recorded by the PhilGBC National Secretariat for documentation purposes. And we encourage active participation during the event. You may ask your questions using the question box in the GoToWebinar panel. Questions that will be raised will be addressed during the discussion period. And upon request, an electronic certificate of attendance will be issued by the PhilGBC National Secretariat to your registered email address, provided that you are present for more than 50% of the allotted time for each session, have completed the feedback survey which will be sent to your registered email address after the event, and requested a copy of your certificate through events@philgbc.org. The BERDE Day Retail Districts episode is exclusive to the PhilGBC members and will feature developers and owners of retail districts development around the country and will share their sustainability initiatives and strategies in managing and operating retail district projects. For this episode, we will have Ms. Helen Magno, Assistant Vice President and Planning Head for Mixed Use and Urban Developments of PHILGBC Alabang, Inc. She leads a team of architects and planners for the design and planning of sustainable retail, mixed use, and township developments. She also introduced innovations for adaptation of sustainable and green solutions, digital transformations, and systems thinking in planning development. She has over 20 years of experience in architecture, urban planning, project development, and management. An advocate for sustainable development principles, she has led multiple projects that was awarded with BERDE or LEED certification. She is also a registered environmental planner. She graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in architecture from Adamson University, and she obtained her master's degree in architecture from University of Santo Tomas and is currently working on being a Doctor of Philosophy in the Designed and Built Environment from the University of the Philippines. We will also have Mr. Clifford Academia Vice President Operations of Lima Land, Inc. Mr. Clifford Academia joined the Aboitiz Group in 2012 as Head of Operations for Commercial Business Unit in Cebu, Philippines, and in 2016 transitioned as the Head for Operations of the Industrial Business Unit in Luzon. And he has around 20 years of experience in operations of commercial centers, office developments, industrial parks, and integrated mixed-use townships. Currently, he is Lima Land's Vice President heading operations for the industrial and commercial business units of Aboitiz Infra Capital. We will be opening the floor for questions after all the presentations from our speakers. You may send your questions from our speakers using the question box and will be addressed during the open forum. Following the discussion, Mr. Edgar Sabidong, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the PHILGBC and Chief Sustainability Officer of Arthalan Corporation, will be delivering this episode's closing remarks. And for our first presenter, let us welcome Ms. Helen Magno, Assistant Vice President and Planning Head of PHILGBC Alabang Incorporated. Ms. Helen.
Hi, thank you, Weng. Thank you for your introduction, Weng. Hello, everyone. So I hope everyone is doing fine on this rainy Monday. And I hope to get you to keep you awake. Yeah, right? Okay, so if is my you're sharing the presentation, Weng, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So let me start with my presentation with this image. This image is taken from one of the scenic spots of our river park here in Festival Mall in PHILGBC City. So it is widely recognized and acknowledged that well-run retail centers can bring significant benefits to local economies. And this past decade, we have seen that the mall developments, shopping developments can also provide benefits to the social aspects of cities and its citizens, if done right. So in these modern times, mall developments has found its way to be the new open space and playground for most of us Filipinos. This pandemic has shown that consumers still view retail centers as essential The malls that offers urban green spaces, quality urban green spaces, has become a place of respite and restoration to the community. It offers resilience to the local economy. So this brings forth the need for a totally new retail experience. Next. Hello. Right, thank you. So the retail sector, we all know that has been hit hard by the pandemic. Though hit hard by the pandemic, we remain committed to sustainability and has found out that working with nature can give us the benefits of resiliency and restoration. The role of biophilic design has emerged globally to emerge. It has emerged to help the needs of the retail development sustainability. So the title of my presentation for today is Biophilic Lifestyle Centers and the Role of Nature-Based Initiatives in Developing Resilient and Restorative Retail Districts. Next.
Yes, ma'am. We have transition to the next slide, biophilia slide.
Oh, all right. It's not moving on my screen. All right, there. There's some seconds of delay. Okay. So allow me to first explain what is biophilia. So biophilia is the hypothesis on which biophilic design and biophilic urbanism has sprung from. So it is a term that has been popularized by a psychoanalyst named Erich Fromm in the 1960s. And well, from the word itself, bio or bios means life, and philia meaning the feeling of love or affinity. Erich Fromm described biophilia as the biological drive of self-preservation, meaning it is something that is innate on us. And in the late 1970s, an American biologist named Edward Wilson, or E.O. Wilson, extended its meaning. So he defined it as the innate or genetic tendency for us humans to focus on life and lifelike process or systems. Meaning it is something that is part of our quote-unquote DNA, the need to commune with life, and that includes not only nature, but of course the people around us. Right. Um, we have heard on how nature benefits our health, right? There is a study by Richard Love in which he coined the term nature deficit disorder. He describes it as the health effects of being away from nature. And research on using biophilic design shows that natural elements of nature, plants, sunlight, fresh air, our interfaces with animals have consistent positive benefits on human health and points to positive outcomes linked to attention restoration and stress reduction. So in the white paper by Terrapin, they concluded that even with nature-like patterns, for example, you get to see a painting of a landscaping, an art mural, is that there still remains some benefits on their biophilic health. On the recent study also of the global impact of by the global impact of biophilic design in the workplace. So it concludes that these design elements, as you see here, indoor plants, spatial environment, water, views and images of nature, daylight, and circadian light, natural and fractal patterns have been able to reduce stress, enhance mood, improve cognition, enhance sleep, and even the way we socialize with other human beings. No, it is not on the slide, but let me also share parts of that report in which it says that Filipino workers feel happier if they get to see trees outside of their workplace. While those in, for example, Indonesia, they felt happier if there are natural stone elements in their office. So meaning it is also it is also based on the geography. Next slide, please. To strengthen this need for biophilia, on a recent study shared by Google, the increase of people visiting parks and other modes of recreation has increased significantly after the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker was the preventive measure by the government of Singapore in response to the COVID pandemic that started on April 2022. There was a strict stay-at-home order and public parks were cordoned off, and among other strict restrictions. All right. The illustration that you're seeing here is the link between the Green New Deal and biophilia. So the Green Deal, by the way, it is a global movement that acts on the principles of holistic, intersectional approach to climate change. So recognizing that climate, social, and economic justice can only be achieved together or as an integrated system. So the application of biophilic design leads to a more holistic approach between the three P's of sustainability: people, planet, profit, as we all know. In this case, on this illustration, human, nature, and economy. This diagram shows the link between Green Deal and biophilia by enhancing the experience with nature, collaboration with natural systems, and support of biodiversity has both preventive and convergent. Through preventive and convergent approach, it can indeed help achieve in a sustainable resilience. So, as humans, we spend 90% of our time in the built environment. And with the advent of technology, as we all know, we spend copious amount of time looking at our screens and other forms of technology. There is a tendency that our relationship with the environment, community, and even ourselves can be depleted as a repercussion to this kind of existence. So the practice of biophilia can help address this. The biophilic design principles that you can see here can be categorized in many frameworks and principles. Direct exposure to nature and its systems, indirect contact, contact with even the images of nature, elements, forms that mimic nature, and also space and places that mimics nature. So in PhilInvest, with our aim of developing green communities, have employed some of these biophilic principles to ensure that our development, like our retail districts, can help the environment, the community, and its citizens. Next, please. So I will discuss on how we employ the principles of biophilic design by providing these concepts and applications on our mall projects. So nature-based design features in which green and blue infrastructures were presented, rainwater catchment systems that mitigate stormwater and stormwater runoff, healthy connections in which we employ pedestrian mobility, access to nature, easy transportation access and cyclist facilities. And for the energy synergy, or what we call harnessing nature's power, in which we employ the use of the solar energy for our malls. Then community engagement, in which we did our eco movement, promotion of Filipino arts, education and awareness, and social integration. Okay, right. So the first application definitely started on the environmental assets of our sites. Next. So the river park story. So the image that you're seeing here is a section of our river park. So this is a segment of a then very narrow Alabang River. That segment of Alabang River is like between 5 to 10 meters. But during the course of one of the momentous typhoons, which is the Ondoy, is that we have found that the need to augment the said river and make it part of the development as both an amenity and both as an infrastructure. According to the UP Institute's NOAA software, this Alabang River, if not done well, can be a source of flooding in the area in the next 50 years. But by employing smart engineering, developing green and blue infrastructures, we were able to design this segment into an area that can mitigate flooding and stormwater runoff, not only on the PhilInvest City Township, but also on the low-lying areas of Alabang and adjacent barangays. So these are some of the summary of what I've mentioned about that river park project. So by working with nature and enhancing the ecology that is already present, we were able to develop a retail district that can mitigate flooding, a robust water ecosystem, and quality way of life that protects biodiversity in the area. So some of the pictures here is that some of the trees and plants that we have actually saved when we developed it. So we have protected century-old acacia trees, use plants plants and landscaping design that thrives on water, such as these horsetail plants here, and flooding. We made use of natural topography as part of the system for water catchment, And of course, the greater benefit definitely is on how well these projects has brought so much joy and togetherness to the families and people that use and continuously use the river park or the water garden of Festival Mall. Next, please. Right. So one of the greatest architects of all time, though some might contest that, uh, Frank Lloyd Wright said, "Study of nature, love of nature, staying close to nature, it will never fail you." So the access for us in PhilInvest, it is not the endpoint of A and then B. The line is stringed by greeneries and should convey this connection strongly. So on our next application, it is all about providing healthy connections, whether connecting to nature or ensuring that our development limits the need for the use of cars and gas-guzzling transportation. Next, please. So this is an old tale for some of us that knows that the impact of cities on the environment. So since cities being the magnet of talent and investment, we all know that this also pushes the cities to its limits. The need for cooling, transportation, and energy production, of course, brings forth emission. Next. So we have seen this as we have seen this before, how this affects the air quality and the respiratory health. Next, please. And of course, the UHI, or the urban heat island effect, that increases the temperature of our cities. So in one of our projects, is that in Festival Mall in Alabang, so cycling and micromobility in general has been promoted as sustainable and suitable modes of transport due to emission mitigation, congestion reduction, and improvement to the user's health and lifestyle. So this mall is also physically interconnected with the remainder of the township via a pedestrian and bike network. And with the presence of an eco-loop system, this provides a transportation need using electric-powered public transport system. So the principles of biophilic design, as I've shown earlier on the connection of Green Deal and biophilia, is that the principles of biophilic design also includes using what nature freely provides. So compared to conventional energy resources in which reserves are finite, so clean energies such as solar, wind, wave are just as available as the sun from which they originate and adapt to the natural cycles. Right. So if you get to really take a look to really look closely, is that solar panels, one of the most common things that we're using as a renewable energy, is a form of biomimicry. So already inspired by botany, solar panels imitate photosynthesis in plants, in which plants uses it for their chemical exchanges, for their growth, while for buildings, we use it to convert the sunlight into a usable energy. So such is the case of a very recent solar roof development, also in Festival Mall. So this one is in partnership with NG Renewable Energy. So it started operations last December 2021, and at currently aims to supply about 28% of the mall's peak demand. There are 5,303 pieces of solar modules, and if you get to really look closely on how it helps the environment, is that the 41,000 tons of CO2 is actually equivalent of removing 9,000 cars off the road of Metro Manila. And based on the current report of our operations, it is that they're actually saving 30% of their electrical bills this past months. Next, please. Yeah, and lastly, we work together with the community. So on a global scale, we all know about this as the sustainability goals developed by the United Nations. The challenge actually is for every developer, planner, community leaders, LGU, is on the challenge is on how to bring this on the doorsteps of our constituents, of our communities, and our citizens. So, based on the study also by UN, is that more sustainable lifestyles worldwide, 4 in 5 consumers feel strongly that the companies they buy should help to improve the environment. So, meaning there's a certain level of awareness already. And while my people have also heard of the UN sustainability goals, is that many of them still do not know what they are for. So, the UN and also some major global institutions like the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, has made up a series of framework on how to communicate these sustainability goals to different cities and to the users. Changing attitudes, seeking advice, changing attitudes of the buyers, seeking advice also from the community, because it is a two-way communication process, right? So feedback and ideas and action, then promoting the actions themselves. Raising awareness is not only through media, but also giving them a sense of participation on the goals and the projects. In terms of choosing channels, is that one of the benefits also of definitely of technology and social media is that we get to have more channels on communicating what sustainability is all about and how it can help on the daily lives on each of the individual. So this framework has also been developed by OECD, in which the developer can use it to ask where is the target audience, how interested are they really in the development, how do I interact or just broadcast, and what is the budget for all of these things. So mass media, physical public spaces, and digital are the ways or the channels now on to develop that communication on what sustainability is all about. So for over a decade, PhilInvest, we integrate the sustainability measures on our developments and operations. Our Eco Movement program aims to protect and preserve the environment, and it also aims to strengthen and engage the communities where we live, work, and play. So we reflect green initiatives like, of course, the common waste management system, segregation, making sure that our fixtures are low flow. But of course, definitely, for next slide, please, is that we want it to be part of the community. So we want to see lifestyle changes, such as the case here of the festival malls, alfresco, and also the Il Corso's interaction during a night market. So with these kinds of events and with these kinds of public spaces, is that we aim that the community participate also on making sure that the goals of the sustainability of the malls and the retail development is also conveyed through their friends, through their families, and even through their social media platforms. So our program conveys our belief in sustainability through our program marketings, community outreach. We make sure that people experiences nature in our development. So we held these kinds of events in which they can easily view the shore. They can easily view the century-old trees of Feeling the City and Festival Mall. So each of these events actually increases the biophilic experience of the people, making them closer to nature. And of course, by making them closer to nature, is that DNA or that innate tendency of feeling loved or feeling love with nature becomes converted into something that they become more aware of them being stewards also of the environment. So one of the newer projects in which we want to use the nature's analogs is through public art. So we have meters and meters long of public murals present on our development, in which we partner with local Filipino artists on making sure that we get to also that we and this is also a partnership with Boysen, in which we also want to reflect biodiversity of the Philippines in our malls. So we make sure that people experience nature outside of our development in our developments through these public murals. So partnership is very important to us. So in Il Corso's I Am a Custodian project or program, is that it aimed to strengthen the marine life and biodiversity by regularly doing cleanup drives in partnership with the Cebu local government, volunteers, and NGOs. So to summarize of what I have discussed in the past slides is that we can employ different principles of biophilia in our developments. So these 4 items here are things that we have employed on our festival mall, on our malls such as Festival and Il Corso in Cebu. So by making sure that we work with nature, making sure that the connections are healthy, and we make sure that we work with nature by harnessing its power and making sure that the community has been properly engaged. So these biophilic principles can be seen and experienced in our lifestyle malls as we make sure to be a paragon of sustainability in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Helen Magno, for that presentation. For our next presenter, we'll have Mr. Clifford Academia, Vice President of Operations of Lima Land, Inc.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Clifford Academia, the Vice President for Operations of Lima Estate. Lima Land is the developer and operator of Lima Estate and part of the Aboitiz Infracapital Economic Estates. Over the past 30 years, Aboitiz Infracapital's economic estates have been delivering innovative concepts through its mixed-use estates anchored on industry and complemented by a mix of residential, commercial, and institutional uses. As we celebrate Green Building Month, it is my pleasure to walk you through the sustainability initiatives and strategies that we implement in one of our commercial developments in Lima Estate and Batangas' largest outdoor mall, the Outlets at Lipa. The Outlets at Lipa is located in the heart of Lima Central Business District, a 30-hectare fully integrated commercial zone located in Lima Estate, an industrial-anchored mixed-use development in Lipa and Malvar, Batangas. The Outlets at Lipa is just an hour's drive from Metro Manila and merges the conveniences of urban lifestyle, wellness, and nature without the congestion in the metro. Let me share with you a preview of the thriving and vibrant community at the Outlets at Lipa. Sprawling at about 9 hectares of leasable areas and open spaces, the Outlets at Lipa offers a lifestyle center with an open-air environment that allows visitors to take advantage of Lipa's cool climate at an elevation of 300 meters above sea level, as well as the picturesque views of Mount Malarayat and Mount Makulot. With a multitude of green spaces and activity areas, shoppers are able to shop, dine, and be entertained in a safe and charming environment, making it dramatically different from other malls in the area. Further, its urban design was purposefully developed to increase walkability and livability within the CBD. The outlets at Lipa houses well-known global retail brands such as H&M, Nike, Adidas, as well as a wide array of restaurants and services. There is also a dog park, jogging paths, bike trails, an expansive play park, a multi-purpose sports field to ensure the outlets cater to the active lifestyle of the community. What's more, the outlets was designed to house various multi-purpose spaces. These spaces were intended to drive foot traffic to the mall by serving as venues for events such as concerts, sporting tournaments, mass on Sundays, or for people to simply relax with their families. One of the most popular amenities is the Aboitiz pitch. Here, we invite amateur and professional athletes to train and play. The pitch is also used for other outdoor sports like Zumba, Frisbee, and softball, and even outdoor movies and stargazing. These spaces set us apart from competitors and have been truly embraced by the community, as is evident in the numerous postings and positive reviews given on social media. Looking at the bigger picture, we recognize that our approach in doing business within our estates could have a great ripple effect among our stakeholders. We are extremely honored to recently receive BERDE District Certification from Philippine Green Building Council for Lima Estate, achieving the 5-star rating. In this process, we have become the very first industrial estate and the largest project in the Philippines to achieve this certification. Lima Estate also recently won the Leadership in Sustainable Design and Performance at PHILGBC's Green Building Awards 2022. This award, which is given every 2 years, recognizes pioneering green projects that set new benchmarks for sustainability. In addition, we are also currently working with PHILGBC to certify the outlets at Lipa for a BERDE Building Certification. These awards and certifications are a validation of our commitment to sustainable development, including the contribution of our projects to health and well-being, community engagement, and economic opportunities. Lima Estate and Aboitiz Infra Capital are committed to putting sustainability, resilience, and smart technology adoption at the forefront of everything we do. These values enable us to create resilient spaces while ensuring the overall health and wellness of our community and the environment. The outlets at Lipa is partially powered by solar energy. The outlet's rooftop solar panels, installed by Aboitiz Power, offset up to 31,000 tons of carbon dioxide annually, equivalent to planting 1.4 million trees. In 2017, the retail electricity supplier subsidiary of Aboitiz Power started delivering renewable energy from its geothermal power plants to Lima contestable customers. Initiatives for the decarbonization of transportation are also underway through the adoption of electric vehicles and shuttles. We have recently launched a free daily shuttle service employing electric vehicles to transport visitors and employees from the outlets to key locations within the CBD. We are also involved in environmental and sustainability-related programs that engage the local community and reinforce our mission that caring for our people and planet is a collective responsibility. As an active partner in the National Greening Program of the government, the outlets at Lipa also participates in the annual simultaneous tree planting activity of the Aboitiz Group, which targets to convert of carbon dioxide into oxygen or the equivalent of about 9,000 hectares of lush reforested areas, once the group has planted around 9 million trees. The outlets at Lipa also celebrates Earth Hour annually and takes it a step further by gathering students, teachers across Batangas to provide educational seminars on environmental care and sustainability. Tenants of the outlets at Lipa will also benefit from Lima Estate's compost to fertilizer program, which is set to launch in the fourth quarter of this year. It aims to manage solid food waste gathered from the estate tenants and locators. The project requires the construction of a composting facility in Lima that will serve as a centralized composting site for the estate and later on for nearby communities. As we continue to expand, elevate, and transform, we also look forward to strengthening the partnership with the Philippine Green Building Council by supporting their programs that promote energy and water conservation and efficiency, the reduction of waste and pollution, and the use of sustainable materials in our developments. I am ecstatic to have given you a glimpse of the green initiatives that Aboitiz Infracapital and Lima Estate have undertaken through the outlets at Lipa over the past years. We hope that with consistent implementation of sustainable and green practices, we will not only deeply embed the sustainability mindset in all levels of our organization, but also influence and encourage our business partners, host communities, and the industry to live by the same standards. Once again, thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Academia. Again, we would like to commend our speakers and the company's initiatives in engaging with your community and your stakeholders and providing them sustainable retail districts by incorporating sustainable programs such as using renewable energy in your development, promoting environmental programs, and promoting Filipino heritage and culture in your developments. May I now invite you to turn on your cameras and join us for the open forum for this episode. As mentioned earlier to our participants, you may send your questions for our speakers using the question box. Okay, so we have a question here. For both PHILGBC and Aboitiz, what are the unique challenges for retail developments when incorporating green building principles? Let's have Ms. Helen first for this question.
Hi, Weng. Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you clearly.
Right. Actually, I was discussing this same question that you have with our leasing and marketing group, because I was asking them how come there are really like a few malls that has been undergoing certification, right? And one of their prime for them is that one of the primary reasons is that most of our retail tenants are still on that silo effect in which they do their sustainability initiatives on their own as a separate company. And of course, for them to be part of a sustainable building is just a plus or a bonus or a gravy for them. And meaning there is a collective movement for sustainability for each and individual retailers. But the challenge there is to make them part of the collective. Um, Perhaps there might be a different, there's are still a different wavelengths on how they embody sustainability. So I guess the challenge is for us developers is to make sure that they will be on board and to make sure that the information has been substantially given to them as to the benefits of them being on board of the said sustainable development.
Thank you, Ms. Helen. Sir Clifford.
Hi. Hi, Weng. Good afternoon. And good afternoon, Architect Helen. Thank you for your presentation. It is very educational for me. And I believe most of the concepts and theories there are very evident also in our development. So thank you for that, ma'am. In terms of the challenges, there are really a lot. And I think Architect Helen um, already mentioned that. No, it's really a change of lifestyle and the way we do things. And at least it's in our malls, we try to really run these programs so that our tenants would deeply understand this and try to imbibe habits in their I would say their mall practices so that they can follow these programs well. But I think to really make it more sustainable and more, I would say, more meaningful to businesses, and I believe we are still a bit far on this aspect, is really to monetize, to find a way that this is monetized or businesses are incentivized by doing these programs. So in more advanced sustainable practices in other countries, there are already carbon credits that are converted to some sort of incentive. No, so um, still a way, still a big dream, I think, for us, but I think there's a framework there that we can definitely employ and hopefully use to to address these challenges that we have. That the challenges that makes it difficult to implement and to follow the programs that make the sustainability initiatives work and work well and be effective.
Thank you, Sir Clifford. So, as you have shared earlier, that you are already incorporating the sustainability programs within your developments. Our participants would like to know, with the strong sustainability commitment of your organization, uh, how do you ensure that your sustainability values are shared by your retail tenants? Uh, let's have Sir Clifford first for this question.
Okay, I was gonna say ladies first. So we one of our, I would say, critical I would say our one of our critical initiatives in the mall is what we call tenant engagement. We make it a point that we regularly engage all our tenants, and this is just not just in the mall but even the industrial estate. We engage them regularly and run our programs and our initiatives with them. We do we make it a point that they are really involved, and we make these programs we make them regularly. We involve them regularly with the intent and with the objective of creating the habit with them. We believe that once we form the good habit of really doing the programs, it will just show that they comply naturally and with less resistance on the programs and the policies and the policies and the rules that we have, not only for the mall but even the estate. So that's one critical initiative that we're doing, and we do that regularly.
Thank you, Sir Clifford. Architect Helen. I
Hi,
think,
Weng.
I think we lost Ellen.
yes,
There.
Architect
Okay.
Helen.
All right. I lost my audio for a second there. Actually, I will be writing on the answer of Mr. Clifford. Yes. Well, of course, um, definitely engagement with the tenants and the takers and the locators is one of the key drivers on how we make sure that we keep them on board sustainability goals. Another thing that we do is that, of course, we lead by example. So meaning we make sure that it starts from us first. And once they see how much effort and an initiative that the whole of the common spaces of the mall has been doing, it's like as if organically they follow suit. And that's the one of the reasons that we make sure that we are very being loud on this sustainability thing, whether it is through social media or whether it is through physical forms of marketing, banners, events. So, well, some of the events has been reduced due to pandemic. So since we are very happy that it's being brought up once again, and we aim to make sure that that we're going to stay loud on these sustainability efforts within the mall of all our malls so they can follow us and copy us. We are fine being copied in terms of that.
Thank you, Architect Helen. For our next question, for both the outlets at Lipa and for PhilInvest retail districts, um, what kind of incentives would you like to receive or see provided for green retail developments?
Mm,
Yes, Architect Helen.
yeah. Well, for retail, it is a matter of leasable space, right? So, I guess for us is that the more, I guess, the more uh, tenants or lessors that we get, lessors that we made part of the development that commits on sustainability efforts. We're hoping that there can be an initiative or on giving the mall developments a leeway, right, on some incentives, either by the local government or even through national agencies like the DNR, so that we can more of these kinds of things. As mentioned, Mr. Clifford mentioned earlier, those are the things that it's quite challenging. The lack of initiative, especially for retail developments. In offices, we have that, right? Some local governments have that, but for retail, it's I believe that it's still a challenge because there's almost none.
Thank you, Architect Helen. Sir Clifford, would you like to add to?
Yeah, I would agree with Architect Helen. Although our development is within a PEZA registered zone, uh, retail or non-export uh, oriented companies are not I would say entitled to incentives even if they are in a zone, and perhaps this can be following following sustainability initiatives can be I would say an interesting or a a good addition or a good way to enjoy incentives if you are within no or doing uh, sustainability initiatives within developments such as these. Again, it's really something to also encourage retailers and I would say lessees, more lessees to do this practice even more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Clifford. For our speakers, we would like to request one takeaway that you would like to impart our participants in incorporating sustainability strategies for retail districts. What would you give them as a takeaway for developing retail districts? Sir Clifford?
Thank you, Weng. Um, so retail districts, these are really developments that touch the consumer. They are the ones that these developments, go directly to the users, the interface directly to the public, and it is a very, very, I would say, effective medium to communicate sustainability. Um, you know, us Filipinos, we really love the malls. And then to Helen's point earlier, after the pandemic, we're beginning to use the parks around. I live in PhilInvest City, by the way, and
Mm.
very, very good development. Uh, it is really a good place or a good medium for us to communicate about sustainability. Um, and I believe, if we use it well, through proper communication, or even through, you know um, um, promoting what are the practices of the mall, in a way that the public can understand, the public can chew, and properly um assimilate. I believe that retail developments or commercial developments are a good and very effective way to communicate sustainability to the public.
Yeah, I
You are
agree 100%. I agree 100%, Sir Clifford. Also to add is that on the start of my presentation, I did mention that on how these kinds of developments have been very much significant, not only on the benefits on the economical scale, but also social and environmental justice. So by providing quality, that's the operative word for me, quality spaces within the malls, is that we can surely convey the the idea of sustainability on each individual users of the mall. And for me, there's a second item. I'm a strong proponent of working with nature. So I believe that if you get to really work, if we get to work with nature, and that also that doesn't involve just the plants, and the 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 water and the air, but of course the people. We need to remember that the malls are users of the malls, the population, the shoppers are part of that ecosystem. So by taking care of the nature is also a way of taking care of our patrons and our buyers.
Thank you, Architect Helen. Thank you, Mr. Clifford Academia, for sharing with us um, your sustainability initiatives, your environmental programs that you have incorporated within your retail developments, and informing us your strategies in managing and operating your retail district project. So, um, thank you to our participants. For participating in this discussion. And if you have further questions for our speakers, please contact the PhilGBC National Secretariat at BG2022 at philgbc.org so we can coordinate with our speakers after the event. Thank you, Sir Clifford. Thank you, Architect Helen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Clifford. Thank you, Wang.
Thank you, Architect Helen. Thank you, Weng. Bye.
We encourage that you get your project certified. Use the latest version of BERDE, register your project, and successfully complete the certification process to get your projects certified. You may access the latest version of BERDE at berdeonline.org. And we hold regular monthly online trainings for project proponents and professionals for BERDE Green Building Rating System to support projects in pursuing their sustainability targets and providing guidance on how to incorporate green building principles in the design, construction, and operations of projects. To officially close this episode, we have the Chair of the Board of Trustees of PhilGBC and the Chief Sustainability Officer of Arthaland Corporation, Mr. Edgar Sabito, for his closing remarks.
Thank you to all the members who joined us in this afternoon's BG 2022 episode 10, the Birthday Day. Thank you to all our speakers sharing their expertise, experience, and insights on incorporating sustainability principles and strategies in their retail district development. Ms. Helen Magno, Assistant Vice President of the PhilInvest Alabang Inc., sharing on Life Malls PhilInvest. Mr. Clifford Academia, Vice President of Lima Land, sharing on the outlets at Lipa. We recommend both developers and PhilInvest in Lima Land for providing green, healthy, and safe community for people to live, work, and play. We hope you are inspired by their commitment in managing and operating retail district projects where the welfare of the people and planet, and not just profit, play an integral part of decision making. We encourage you to incorporate sustainability strategies similar to those shared by our speakers as you, developer, on your own district. We hope you're motivated to also push forward green strategies in your projects. We invite you to also use the recently launched BERDE Districts version 1.0.0 to start your green development. Register your projects and have it successfully certified under their tools to be the next project as well to be featured on our conferences. In closing, thank you to all our BG 2022 sponsors and your sustained support. Our gold strategic partner, NEO, Aboitiz Infracapital Economic Estates, City Homes Builders and Development. For our silver strategic partner, Wall Vision Corporation, Daikin Air Conditioning Philippines, and First Balfour. For bronze strategic partner, Monocrete Construction Philippines, Botanica Nature Residences, PhilInvest City, FPD Asia, AGC Asia Pacific, and Datem Incorporate. Join us in our upcoming episode this week for our CBPs. We invite you to join us in the next episode this afternoon, episode 10, the Birthday Day. Birthday X3 Mondays on the 19th of September 2022, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Our online certification training, episode 11, The Professionals, BERDE. BERDE building on Tuesday and Wednesday, 20 to 21st of September 2022 at 8 to 5 p.m. And our first official certification training on BERDE District, episode 12, The Professionals, BERDE Districts. That's on Thursday and Friday, 22nd to the 23rd of September 2022 at 8 to 5 p.m. And next week's episode, week 4, last week of BG 2022, we have episode 13, the green financing on Monday, September 26th at 9 a.m. Episode 14, the advancing net zero, Monday, September 26th at 1:30 p.m. And we have episode 15, the professionals. Advanced Net Zero Philippines on Tuesday, September 27th, and episode 16, the closing, on Friday, September 30. Visit PHILGBC.org for more information or contact the Philippine National Secretary on BG 2022 at philgbc.org. Once again, thank you to all of you for your participation in this afternoon's episode 10, the Birthday Day. Thank you.